In my demonstration speech today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to train the ultimate Pokemon and subsequently become a Pokemon master. Or at least that's what I was going to do before I realized, most of this class probably doesn't care about this topic whatsoever. So instead of boring you guys with needless information about Pokemon, I decided, why not do something else? Why not bore you on needless facts about Fergumon? That's right. Today's speech will be covering how to train the ultimate Fergumon and be the best on the block and impress all of your friends. In this video, there's two main topics I will be covering, and those are effort values and egg moves. Those are the easiest to talk about in regards to training the ultimate Fergumon. Individual values, which you see up there, I was going to do those, but I realized that it would take like 20 minutes, so I decided to back off on that idea. But yeah, the first thing we're going to go into is effort values. The Fergumon in question that we're going to be training today is Fred. Fred, like all Fergumon, has 6 stats: health, attack, defense, speed, special attack, and special defense. I'll briefly pause the video and run through them really quickly. Alright, so to segue the discussion on effort values, I'm going to be showing you a quick battle recorded directly from the Fergumon games. We have Fred versus Scott, and if you don't know, Fergumon is turn-based, so each player takes turns moving their move with the higher speed stat, as I mentioned earlier, going first. Fred just punched Scott. Scott takes some damage, as you can see from the health bar decreasing. And yeah, Scott makes his turn. So yeah, that's the general basics of a battle in Fergumon. We're going to see Scott get knocked out in a single attack right now. Very painful scratch from Fred. And yeah, Scott is now going to fall unconscious as he gets knocked out. Poor Scott. So Scott's unconscious, as you can see, but what's the point of showing the battle scene randomly? Well, all knocked out Fergumon give off EVs, as I mentioned earlier, effort values. And let's say, for example, our friend Scott here gives off 3 EVs in the speed stat. So what does this mean? Well, this is going to be a little confusing at first, but hopefully you'll understand as things move on. The purpose of EVs lies in the fact that 4 effort value points is equal to 1 stat point. And I'm going to show you an example of Fred's level up page, and some of it was accidentally scribbled out. I'm not really sure why. But you can see that he got +4 speed in his last level up. And you might be thinking, wow, +4, that's really bad. Why can't I make that better? And well, that's where EVs come in. Say you knock out 4 Scotts. The 4th one will come in just a second. If each Scott gives off 3 effort values, and there are 4 of them, that's a total of 12. And since 4 effort values is 1 stat point, your 12 effort values effectively give you 3 stat points. And since they're in speed, that is a +3 speed. So instead of getting +4 like you normally would, you would get +7. And that is the essence of effort values. Wow, that's pretty impressive, right? Yeah, but the problem is there's some limitations. You max out at 252 effort values in a single stat, which, for those of you who can't do the math, that is 63 stat points. You also have a max of 2 different stats that you can put the points in, so you can't just cram all of the points into a single stat. Here are some quick tips to help you out in the EV training process. So the biggest thing is that different Fergumon give you different EVs. So a Scott would give you different EVs than, say, a Hunter would, for example. And another thing to note is that stronger Fergumon give you the more EVs. So to give you an example, a Fergumon such as Liron, which is powerful, would give you a lot more effort values than a weaker one such as the John. Alright, now I'm going to be going over egg moves. So here we see that Fred knows punch, scratch, kerfuffle, and a moonwalk. But you want to teach him tic-tac-toe. The problem is Fred doesn't naturally learn tic-tac-toe. So how could you possibly teach him it? And the answer comes in the concept of egg moves. So what you're going to need is, since Fergumon are born as the same species as the mother, you're going to need a mom Fred and a dad of a different species, which we're going to call Face. So Face knows tic-tac-toe, and Fred wants to learn tic-tac-toe. So when mom and dad have their child, Fred, it'll have 3 moves from the mom and the special egg move from the dad that it wouldn't naturally be able to learn. But since it has a different dad that knows this move, it'll be able to learn the move. And it's a pretty dumb concept, but I guess now you have your genetically mutated Fergumon, so it's worth it. As I near the end of my tutorial, I want to demonstrate just how powerful this new Fred is. So again, footage directly recorded from the Fergumon games. Fred, our newly trained, Eevee trained, uses his egg move Tic-Tac-Toe on Liron, one of the strongest Fergumon out there, and it instantly takes him out. That is how strong Fred is. In fact, if you followed my steps successfully, then you too should be able to be a Fergumon ultimate trainer and a Fergumon master. So yeah, as we can see here, the untrained Fred is lame and boring. Nobody likes it, but wow, check out this new Fred. Eevee trained, it has egg moves, it's awesome, it's ultimate, and it is the best Fergumon out there. So yeah, a few quick credits to close this off. Fred, Liron, Scott, and John all have their faces in the video. Thanks for that.